Dragon Slayers Academy, Book 1, Chapter 7. Ready, Wiglaf? Eric called as he hurried toward the gatehouse. Wiglaf was bent over, trying to fix a wobbly wheel on the horde cart. He glanced up and was nearly blinded by the glare from Eric's sleighing outfit. Eric stood proudly before him in a gleaming silver helmet. He carried a broad silver shield, and a wide silver belt held his sword. Wiglaf only had Shorekill. "What fine gear," Wiglaf told Eric. "Yes," Eric agreed. "I sent away for it from the Sir Lancelot Fan Club catalogue. Come, you shall pull the cart as Mordred said. Let us be off. My sword is itching to slay the dragon." Wiglaf began to slide back the great iron bolt on the gatehouse door, but a yell from Eric made him stop. "Boar!" Eric cried. "Wild boar!" Wiglaf turned to see Eric with his sword drawn and his shield up. "Stand back," Eric shouted. "I shall slay the charging beast." "What beast?" Wiglaf asked. Then he spotted something running toward them across the castle yard. It was Daisy. "Eric, stop!" Wiglaf shouted. "Stop! That is my own pig, Daisy." Eric stopped and glumly lowered his sword. He jammed it back into its scabbard and stomped off, grumbling. Wiglaf ran to Daisy. "Iglafway," she squealed. "Aikte ime ithway, ooye." "I cannot, Daisy," Wiglaf said sadly. He squatted down beside her and scratched her bristly ears. "It's too dangerous, for I am off to hunt a dragon." "Orzelgay?" Daisy's voice trembled. Wiglaf nodded. "Who knows? Perhaps I shall return a hero." He tried to smile. "But if I do not," he gulped, "if I do not return, I am sure Frypot will take good care of you. Now I must go. Farewell, best pig in the world." "Erwell fay Iglafway," Daisy called after him. "Udgay uklay." Wiglaf waved and hurried back to the gatehouse. Then he picked up the cart handle. "Let us be off," he said to Eric. Wiglaf and Eric followed the trail down the hill from Dragon Slayers Academy. Then they headed north on the Huntsman's Path. They walked beside the swampy river all afternoon. Strange birds cried out from the stunted trees along the way. Hairy-legged spiders dropped down on them from overhanging branches. Once, an angry troll threatened them with his club, but Wiglaf was not afraid. The thought of facing Gorzel was so terrifying that nothing else bothered him. Well, almost nothing. "I shall slay Gorzel no problem," Eric announced for the 200th time. "I shall plunge my sword into his throat. I shall twist it. Buckets of blood will gush from the dragon's steaming wound. Then I shall—" "You know," Wiglaf broke in finally, "my sword was made for dragon slaying too." "That bent-up old thing?" Eric sneered. Wiglaf nodded. "A wizard gave it to me," he explained. "When I say magic words, it will leap from my hand and obey." Eric looked doubtful. "And just what are the magic words?" The wizard had forgotten," Wiglaf mumbled. "It matters not," Eric scoffed as they came to a fork in Huntsman's Path. One path led to the village of Toenail, the other led into the dark forest. "For I shall slay this dragon with my own silvery sword. I shall cut Gorzel to ribbons. I shall—" Suddenly, Eric stopped talking. He stared at the blackened leaves of a nearby shrub. "Behold," he cried, "this bush is scorched." Wiglaf bent down to take a closer look. So it is, he agreed. Could it be from the hot breath of a dragon? How could it not? And look here, Eric pointed to the ground. Footprints! Wiglaf stared at a huge three-toed print in the path in front of them. My, but these footprints are large, he exclaimed. Come, Eric said. They will lead us to Gorzil's cave. Hark, he added. What noise is this? Wiglaf listened. It sounds like somebody crying. The sound grew louder. Then a boy and girl about Wiglaf and Eric's age came along on the path from Toenail. Tears streamed down their cheeks. What ails you, good travelers? Eric called to them, and how can we help? Alack-a-day, the boy wailed. You cannot help us. No one can. My sister Zelda and I are on our way to Gorzil's cave. Do you mean, Wiglaf began, that you are the son and daughter of the village? That you are to be Gorzil's breakfast? Zelda nodded. I fear it is so. The Toenail village masters held a lottery, and alas, Gawain and I won. If only a brave knight would slay Gorzil and save us, Gawain said, but there is no hope of that. Eric yanked his sword from his scabbard and held it high in the air. Fear not, young friends, he cried. Eric, the dragon slayer, is at your service. Gawain and Zelda stared at him. You? Zelda said. Eric nodded. You are but a boy, she scoffed. Eric sniffed. I am first in my class at Dragon Slayer's Academy, he replied. I shall slay Gorzil, no sweat. Do you know how many brave knights have tried and perished in his flames? Gawain asked. No, but, Eric began. Gorzil will toast you like a marshmallow, Zelda declared. Unless, she added, you come up with a clever plan. A plan? Wiglaf said. What kind of... Change clothes with us, Zelda cut in. Disguise yourselves as the son and the daughter of Toenail and catch Gorzil off guard. At first, Eric looked doubtful. Then he began to smile. Yes, he exclaimed, I can see it now. At dawn, we shall appear at the mouth of Gorzil's cave, dressed in your clothing. Gorzil will never suspect that behind my back I have a sword. When the dragon opens his jaws to eat me, I shall whip out my sword and plunge it deep into his throat. His whole body will shudder and... But Eric, Wiglaf broke in, how can one of us pass for a daughter of the village? But Eric was already taking off his helmet. Worry not, Wiglaf, he said. Just be quick and give your tunic to Gawain. Here, Zelda, take my Sir Lancelot armor. Eric handed the girl his helmet and chainmail. As soon as we are dressed in their clothes, Eric told Wiglaf, we shall go thitherward to carry out our plan.